Hello, I'm Wendell, and I'm now a 4K addict thanks to this SLI Hall of Fame setup from KFA2, and I need help. So this is a quickie build log video. If you want to see the full unboxing and review of these 980 Ti Hall of Fame editions from KFA2, check the description below. There's a link to the unboxing video and the overview and the benchmark results for a single card. In this video, we're going to do this build with this awesome motherboard and heatsink and power supply and this whole setup. And basically, this is good to go. All you need to do is put it in a case. I didn't put it in a case because I'm going to strap it to the back of my monitor tree. Yeah, I'm just going to strap this to the back of that, call it a day. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to love it. Because again, 4K addict. So, plus also that's going to simplify my monitor situation. Instead of this sort of chic matrix thing that I've got going on here, I can just throw up a couple of 4K monitors and maybe one or two peripheral monitors and be all set, and not have to have, you know, a stack of 17 monitors. And anyway, that's not what you guys came here for. You guys came here to take a look at this, and this thing is crazy. So this thing is running at 4K, and this thing is powering this at 4K, so it's slightly insane. Now that you know the level of insanity that we're going to deal with, we've got two of these 980 Ti Hall of Fame edition cards that we're going to put in our rig. For this test, we put it together in a kick-ass X99 system. Let's do a walkthrough of the system real quick. For the power supply, we're using this Corsair 850 watt. It turned out that even though, you know, theoretically 850 watts should be enough because the 980 Ti cards are not supposed to be, you know, like super power hungry. When you push these 980 Ti cards to the limit, we were drawing over 840 watts at the wall as measured by this kilowatt on the table here with this power supply. That's sort of an oops. That's not good. That's really hard on the power supply. So we also had this epic 1000 watt deep cool power supply that we also used in testing. So we are using the Lucifer heatsink from GamerStorm, which pairs pretty well with the ASRock X99WS. It has a little bit of trouble if you've got tall RAM in the back, but it worked out fine with their crucial DDR4 kit. So that worked out pretty good in our ASRock X99WS motherboard. Now this is ASRock's X99 Workstation board. It does have dual onboard 10 gigabit Ethernet. It is of course available in other configurations that are less expensive that do not have 10 gigabit Ethernet. If you don't have a 10 gigabit LAN, obviously don't get the 10 gigabit motherboard unless that's going to be, you know, the cornerstone of your 10 gigabit LAN. But for us, we're all about 10 gigabit and moving things at 10 gigabit speed. So 10 gigabit workstation motherboard. That worked out really well in this case. For the monitor, of course, we're using the A399 Korean monitor. If you haven't seen a review on that, you should totally check it out. We've tested it against the Philips 4K and it wins hands down, but 39 inches plus 4K is really the winning combination because you don't need display scaling. 39 inches of 4K things on the monitor are roughly the same size as 2560 by 1440 on a 27-inch monitor. So if you have a 27-inch monitor and you like the size of stuff on the screen in terms of display scaling and font size, and you're running everything at the normal sizes, everything's physically the same size, except with 39 inches, it's 39 inches instead of 27 inches, and so you get all the many extra pixels. It works out great. And let's face it, on Windows 10, even on Windows 10, the display scaling on Windows kind of sucks. If you're going to build a system like this, I'd recommend at least an 850 watt power supply. If you're going to build something like this with a socket 1150 system, that's Haswell, you know, the 4770K, 4790K, 850 watts is probably enough, even with overclocking. If I were pushing this 5960X i7 that's in the ASRock X99WS with an overclock, 850 watts would definitely not be enough. And that may even tax the Deepcool DQ1000. If you're building a system with the new Z170 chipset, then something in the 850 watt neighborhood is probably okay there as well, unless you've got a really crazy overclock. But I'd say that that's fine. And of course, that's for SLI systems across the board. If you're only going to run one graphics card, 850 watts is enough across the board. Getting up and running from there is really just a matter of putting the parts together. Don't forget to add the SLI bridge. With these components, you can put them in any case that has good airflow, and you'll have a great system for work or play. The 10 gigabit Ethernet on this particular motherboard is probably overkill, but, you know, we like it. For these tests, we also wanted to do some of the first testing with Windows 10. So all of this is done with Windows 10. This is the full retail version of Windows 10 that's out on July 29th. So let's run through the benchmarks together. We all know that multi-GPU configurations scale better on the red team with AMD than they do with the green team on NVIDIA, but I'm happy to report that in most games there was a significant bump in performance from adding the second GPU. And basking in the glow of the glorious behemoth Korean monitor, it was noticeably better. So you may be wondering, is it worth it? Well, I don't really game all that much, but unleashing this 4K monitor was epic. I'm going to have a hard time not gaming with a setup like this because it was so much fun. I really thought we would be one more graphics card generation away from buttery smooth 4K goodness, meaning that graphics cards that haven't been invented yet are what would be needed for buttery smooth 4K gaming goodness at high resolution and high texture packs and things like that. But we're here today. Now, granted, it does take two 980 Ti's that are overclocked a significant amount, but we're here today, and it works really well. It's actually very impressive. I should also point out that we haven't tried Crossfire Fury X's because no one has sent us Crossfire Fury X's to try, and AMD doesn't know about us or care about you guys in the audience to have us actually figure it out. So we're just going to sit on our thumbs until we can get a good deal on some Fury X's. Or we get some more people on the subscription, or we set up Patreon, or some combination of things there. So if you would rather do productivity instead of gaming for a build like this, just substitute the X5960 i7 for a Xeon 1650 V3 and the 980 Ti's for an NVIDIA K5000 or two, and you'll be all set. Now the NVIDIA K5000s are $3,000 to $5,000 depending on how you buy them, and the Xeon 1650 V3 is about the same price as the 5960X, give or take. You've actually got a few options. The Xeon 16XX series, as long as it's a V3, you'll basically be okay in this motherboard. You can also get error correcting RAM instead of un-error correcting RAM. DDR4 has a little bit of error correction built in, but it's not as good as true actual ECC memory. Get some actual ECC memory while you're at it. That'll be a little bit more expensive. But then you've got a really amazing workstation. Turns out workstation components for gaming machines sort of give you the best of both worlds. You get the stability. You lose a little bit on the overclocking features because the workstation motherboards, they don't really want to make the system super unstable. Although you do get a few overclocking options. You do get extra power delivery and things like that. I've been very satisfied with this motherboard, so your mileage may vary. So all in all, I had a really good time sort of building this and goofing off with it. And it was a lot of fun building a rig beastly enough to drive full res 4K high def. I can see all the pixels because it's 39 inches of pixels, so it's not a question of not being able to see the pixels. It's been a lot of fun. It really has been. We also got to take a peek at the GamerStorm stuff. I'm very satisfied with the GamerStorm Lucifer cooler. It works really well. It might be a little bit of a problem if you've got a tall RAM, but in this case, on this motherboard, it works out fine. And these 980 Ti Hall of Fame edition cards, they're beastly. So I really had a lot of fun. If you're thinking about doing something like this, or you're going to build a system like this, you're seriously considering getting all the parts for this, you're going to get the Korean monitor or whatever, head on over to the forums at techsyndicate.com. We've got a really long thread where probably 100 people have bought the monitor, and 99% of it is positive. There have been a few minor problems. Some people had some quality control issues. I think one of the monitors had coil whine. But all in all, basically okay, basically a good deal. 39 inches 4K, the gaming rig to drive it, it's really awesome. And the Windows 10 benchmarks. I think this is some of the first Windows 10 benchmarks to go up on the internet. So all in all, there's a lot of stuff here going on in this video. If you didn't see the unboxing video for these, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description. If you want to see anything else about the monitor or the other components, just head on over to the forum. The links are there. You can use the search. It's fine. It's great. I'm Wendell. I'm signing out, and I'll see you in the forums.